Hey everyone, we're up and running. I just want to do this little quick test. What I'm using is for my VST host. I just want to do a load test and kind of, if you can see, the CPU load usage, the memory usage as well. And you can see in the left corner of the screen, you can actually see what the sample buffer rate is for my audio interface, my Mode 2 Ultralight AVB. So I'm using some of the heavier load VSTs that are out now. Uh, I'll scroll up and I'll kind of go through them real quickly. I have 4 instances of Keyscape. I've got the Ravenscroft 275, Lounge Lizard, Omnisphere. I got 2 instances of Contact 5, which is really upgraded to Contact 9 or 10, I believe. And Pure Synth Platinum by Gospel Musicians, and Concerto, which is in the Rolling Cloud package. And those, I've found out that those VSTs can be used uh, in DAW. You don't have to be constantly connected to the internet. I think one of the tech support told me that you needed to just log on to be on the internet at least every 7 days. So that means you can go ahead and gig with them and don't have to be tethered to the internet. So let's go down real quick. I'll show you what I have with these actually, which actual patches. For my first instance of Keyscape, I got the vintage digital keys, the MS-20 Electric Grand. And I'm going to just, you'll see in the upper corner right here, upper right hand corner, I'm adjusting the volume. This is, all these VSTs are running in the background. I just created one complete layer. I didn't go through VIP, or Mainstage, where you would just be able to cut one VST off, and then as you go from song to song, you're cutting off VSTs and all that, because I found that to be problematic. So pretty much what I wanted to get a machine that I can just run my complete one layer. So the only thing I'm doing is MIDI mapping my controller to the main volume. So when I need piano, I just, whichever piano, whatever plug-in I need, I just turn the knob and I'm adjusting the volume. The ones I don't need, I turn the volume down, or pretty much turn it off. I'm gonna go right quick. This is the MKS20 by Keyscape. Okay, that's instance 1 of Keyscape. And you can see, just to verify that, you should be able to see, you see the green light in the the right hand corner. That's my MIDI indicator, so that'll show you, here are all the plugins. As you can see, as they light up green, and up in the upper right hand corner and right here, all of them are active. They're all receiving MIDI channel 1. And you can also see here, this is another screen where the kind of a breakout. And look right here in the corner. As I scroll down, all of them are active at one time. Okay, right quick, let's go through this. Second instance of Keyscape is the LA Custom. So watch, you can look here, so you can verify that each plugin is being activated. Just look here in the upper right hand corner. Now this is plugin number 2. My third instance of Keyscape is the classic amp Rhodes. Let's turn that up. Turn the main volume up. Okay. Now, my fourth instance of Keyscape, what do we have? Wurlitzer, warm Wurlitzer. Again, looking at upper right hand corner to verify that I'm activating this one. I'm turning the volume up. Okay, let's go around real quick. Ravenscroft 275 piano. Love it. Let's see, here we go. Lounge Lizard, VST number 6, which is modeled, which doesn't use samples, so it's actually a very small plugin. I think some like maybe under 20 megabytes, but it's but it uses a CPU, and they modeled it, the internal part, so it has a lot of programmability. Let's see, what else do we have here? Omnisphere, air glass patch. And also, if you notice right here, I've got it actually, I cranked up the voices to 30 voices because wanted the polyphony would be real crazy because I think it opens up with like just 12. Let's go down a little further. Contact. First instance of Contact, I've got gospel musicians, MKS, Beefy EP. Okay, what do we have here? A second instance of Contact. We have Adagietto Strings, one of their ensemble patches. Let's turn the volume up on that. Love those strings. And Pure Platinum by Jamal Hartwell, gospel musicians again. Okay. And I think last but not least, just kind of Concerto from Roland, and I've got a Roland Cloud Anthology 1993. I've got like an analog brass patch. So, I like those. So, actually, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's try that again. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. We got 4 keyscape. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Got 11 plugins. And like I said, we got 4 keyscape right here. Ravenscroft, UVI's Ravenscroft 275, Lounge Lizard, Omnisphere, 2 contacts, Pure Synth Platinum, and Concerto from Rolling Cloud. And so just watch in the corner, and what I'm going to do is just turn up the volume for each plugin, and you can look over here to the left, and you can see that I've got about the memory, I've got about in this machine is, oh, actually the machine is not a Mac, and this is not Mainstage. This is actually a Windows 10 PC. I prefer to use Windows if I'm gonna do live, because one feature that Mac has, that Windows has, that Mac does not, is hot USB swapping. I don't know if you gig on the regular, but you would notice if you ever had an issue, you're getting ready to set up, and the USB cable, say, falls out or becomes disconnected. In a Mac machine, they have a security feature where once you plug it back up, either you might have to reboot the program or reboot the machine. And if you're getting ready to start to play, I've been there, done that, it's no good. So Windows does have Windows 10 offers the feature of USB hot swapping, and it's gotten me out of a lot of jams. I'll turn the computer on, turn the program on, forget to plug in my audio interface, and it plugs in with the program open. You hear a little chime, it recognizes it. I can go ahead and start the gig. So just and just tell you a little bit about the machine. What I'm using is Windows 10 8-core, 3.4 gigahertz 8-core Ryzen 1700X. I've been using this with max RAM is 64 gigs. Today I'm just using 32. For my solid state drives, for my storage, I have for my C drive, I don't have a regular SATA 3 drive. I have an M2 NVMe Samsung NVMe solid state drive. It's about, if you're familiar with, it's about the size of a stick of gum, and it works off the PCIe bus for my tech heads, and it has a faster stream rate than the SATA 3, your standard hard drive your hard drive solid state drive connection bus. So the PCIe is your fastest connection to your processor, and so the NVMe works on that bus. So my C drive actually, instead of with your standard SATA 3 solid state drives, external or internal, they probably will run at best speed of 500 to 550 megabytes a second. For the NVMe's, for the solid state drives that operate off the PCIe bus, which some Apples do, and that gives Apple an advantage on a lot of their computers, because a lot of people didn't know that a lot of their computers run their storage, their solid state drives off the PCIe bus, where they're getting better than the 500 550 megabytes a second. They're getting possibly up to 1 to 2 gigs a second. So of course you're going to notice a difference when load times of your virtual instruments and the performance. For this machine, back to my machine, it's my C drive is a Samsung M2 NVMe solid state drive, which has an advertised read write data transfer rate of 3.5 gigs a second. And for my samples, for my secondary drive, it's an M2 SATA 3 drive. Both drives mount directly to the motherboard, and that SATA 3 has a data transfer rate of, like I said, around 500 megabytes a second. But with separating your samples from your operating system, from the programs, you do notice a much better performance where the computer doesn't have to try to uh, pick the samples from the same drive and then shoot them back and forth, and kind of frees up some of the lanes to your processor. So I'm going to go ahead and start to add each plugin, and you can look in the right hand corner and see right now CPU load is down like 1%. But again, I'm using an 8 core AMD processor. I didn't overclock it, standard, and also my audio interface, I'm using a Mode 2. And my buffer sample rate is set at 256 at 44.1. Okay, let's go ahead and do this test right quick, and we'll go to the second test after this. Okay, let's cut that one off. And if you could see, no clipping, no popping, and you could probably look if you pull the screen up, you can see CPU load. I'm playing all these. You can see the green lights in the corners. All my plugins. You can look right here. All of them are being used. So what I'm just trying to show is saying you don't need an overclocked CPU, water cooled, to get a lot of the work done. Like I said, this is a Ryzen 3.4, their older processor, the 1700X. The next machine I'll be demoing is the newer processor. I was going to do a 12 core with 64 gigs max, and possibly 3 solid state drives. Oh, and this machine is not a desktop. It is, I'll have some pictures shortly once I can get my camera set up. All of that again is a 3.4 gigahertz 8 core, 32 gigs of RAM, max 64 gigs, two solid state drives, and one 2.5 hard drive, 7200 RPM drive, all in a one space rack, 11.9 inches deep. It will fit in your standard rack case, portable, no issues overheating, and it's been great. I've been demoing it, like I said, for Hute Technologies for the last September will be 2 years. So now for the next machine I should be demoing is a 12 core, same configuration, one space rack, so it's ultra portable. It's just as portable as the new Mac laptops, no issue overheating. And for the new machine, the 12 core, it also should offer Thunderbolt for some of the users that want Thunderbolt, and also offer PCIe 4.0. Waiting for the motherboards to be advertised and released, but that would mean a boost in your hard drive data transfer rate for the ones that are connected, as what we talked about on the PCIe bus, where they have some solid state drives that are advertised now using PCIe 4.0 are closer to 4 to 5 gigs a second. And if what I mainly use my machine for is live performance. So if you're using VSTs, you should really see a notice a gain in performance and load times. And as you see now, I'm playing 4, even though you only hear one plugin, I'm playing all 11 at one time. And if you look and you see little short spikes, but it stays around 40, 31, 29. Oh no, I'm sorry. CPU load is right here. So that's, I'm sorry, it's around 20%. So let me turn all of these on. And I'm holding sustain pedal. Doesn't really go past 20%. CPU load, system load. And for my VST host is Cantabile. It's free. You can test it. It's actually been developed by some guys out in Australia, and it's been rock steady. Love it. They have a lot of easy features. It didn't take long to build um, this layer, but definitely you can go to the website is www.cantabile or Cantabile, CANTIBILE.com, I believe. But I'll have one on my YouTube page linked to for all the Windows users, and I believe they're making a version for Mac. But for some of you that don't have $4,000, which you really don't need that computer, 4,000, and then some of those laptops had just been recalled about 3 weeks ago for overheating and catching fire, the new 2018s. But you can get a lot of work done using PC. My biggest issue with PC is the automatic updates, and I'll be working on that to kind of slow that down. But other than that, and the reason why the system wanted a system that's robust is that my next video I'll show that I'm also running stems alongside of having Cantabile host my VSTs. So I'm gonna have a double load. So again, like I said, you can look here, and I love Cantabile, and I've learned a lot with that. It's looking at CPU load times, system load times, how much memory I'm actually using, working set, and like I said, this is around 14 gigs of loaded right now, but it could spike when you use some of the plugins, some of the patches in Keyscape, the piano patches, because Keyscape does not load all of the patches, all of the samples at once. So it might start off and might load a few, and I didn't understand why it would always crash my Mac at certain times. And I looked at the CPU usage, and then I looked at the memory usage, and it started off before I started playing, and once I started playing a couple of notes, all of a sudden it jumped up by like 500 megs to like almost a gig and a half, because it started loading samples as I'm playing, trying to figure out what are the next notes, so it would have the sounds already set up in memory. But thanks for watching, and this concludes my first video on my CPU load on a Windows 10 8-core machine. Thanks a lot.